Right now, there is probably something tugging at the back of your mind, something important, something you keep telling yourself you'll get to soon. So let me ask you a direct question. What is the one thing you know you should be doing, but still haven't started? Not next month, not when circumstances improve, right now. Maybe it's a business idea sitting on the sidelines, a conversation you've been avoiding, a decision you keep postponing, a dream that never seems to leave the planning stage. Most people can immediately think of something. And most people also have a reason for waiting. More money, more time, more certainty, more confidence, the belief that one day they'll be ready. But I don't think those are the real reasons. In fact, I think something much more interesting is happening. Because have you ever noticed that the reason keeps changing, but the waiting stays the same? You gain more knowledge, but now you need more confidence. You gain more confidence, but now you need more time. You find the time. Now you need a better plan. The condition changes. The waiting remains the same. And that makes me wonder, are we really waiting for those things? Or are we waiting for permission? Maybe you're not waiting for more time. Maybe you're not waiting for more money. Maybe you're not even waiting for more confidence. Maybe you're waiting for permission. And here's the uncomfortable question: permission from who? Who decided you needed all these things before you started? Who created that rule? Did someone teach it to you, or did you learn it by watching other people? Did it develop after a difficult experience? Or is it simply an assumption that you've carried for so long that you've stopped questioning it? Because when you really think about it, life doesn't work that way. Most of the important things that we do happen before we feel ready. People become parents before they feel ready, start businesses before they feel ready, move across the country before they feel ready, leave relationships before they feel ready, change careers before they feel ready. They don't begin because they're ready. They become ready because they begin. And maybe that's the first belief we need to question. Maybe readiness isn't something you achieve before action. Maybe it's something you develop because of action. But let's go deeper. I think something else happens when we wait too long. Waiting starts to feel productive. We think about it, research it, plan it, prepare for it, talk about it, imagine it. And because we're busy around the idea, it feels like progress. But activity isn't always movement. Planning is not always progress. Preparation is not always participation. And sometimes the most dangerous form of waiting is the kind that disguises itself as productivity because it feels responsible, it feels intelligent, it feels safe. Yet nothing actually changes. The dream remains a dream. The decision remains a decision. And life quietly moves forward. Which leads to another question. What has waiting cost you? Most people think that waiting costs time. I don't think that's the biggest cost. I think the biggest cost is the person you've never become. Think about that. Who might you be if you started 5 years ago? Not because you would have been perfect, but because you would have 5 years of experience, 5 years of lessons, 5 years of growth, 5 years of evidence, 5 years of becoming. And while we can't change the past, we can learn from it because another question naturally appears. Who would you be if you stopped waiting? What qualities would you develop? What skills would you gain? What confidence would emerge? What opportunities might appear? What version of yourself is trapped behind the first step that you've been avoiding? Because maybe the future you want isn't created by more preparation. Maybe it's created by participation. Maybe the life you're hoping for requires a version of you that can only be built through experience. And if that's true, one final question remains. What if the rule isn't true? What if you don't need to be ready? What if you don't need certainty? What if you don't need more preparation? What if the only thing you need is a willingness to begin before you feel prepared? Because many of the things we've been waiting for can only be developed after we start. Confidence comes from doing. Clarity comes from doing. Experience comes from doing. Momentum comes from doing. Even self-trust comes from doing. Yet we wait for those things to arrive before we take action. It's like waiting at the bottom of a staircase and refusing to take the first step until we reach the top. It doesn't work that way. The first step creates the path. The action creates the learning. The movement creates the clarity. So here's the thing I'd like you to think about. Finish this sentence. I'll start when whatever comes after those words is worth examining. More money, more time, more confidence, a calmer season of life. Whatever it is, ask yourself, is that truly a requirement or a condition that I've created? And if that condition appeared tomorrow, would I begin? Be honest, because honesty creates awareness. Awareness creates choice, and choice creates movement. And sometimes the honest answer is enough to interrupt years of waiting. So before you move on with your day, think about that one thing that you've been postponing. Name it clearly. And then ask yourself, if not now, what exactly am I waiting for? And don't settle for the first answer. Dig deeper, because the answer may reveal the very thing that's holding you back. And once you see it, you have a choice. Keep waiting or take the first step. Not someday, today. Because what if the thing you're waiting for has been waiting for you. The confidence, the clarity, the momentum, the experience, the future version of yourself. None of those arrive first. They arrive because you begin. The future you're hoping for isn't built the moment you finally feel ready. It's built in the moment you decide to start. So start, even if it's small, even if it's uncomfortable. Take one step before this day ends and give the person you could become a chance to emerge. Until next time, stay curious.